Howdy, hi, hello, everybody. Rod Shelley here for the first behind the scenes of 2020. Now that we're a little over a month into the new year. And I'm sitting here in my Chiefs Conference Champion t-shirt. And of course, by now we know they are now the world champions. And I also have my AFC Champions mug here. And of course, the best part of this is it's got hot coffee in it. Good stuff. Nectar of the gods, that. Anyway, I am not necessarily a huge sports nut, but this is kind of a special occasion. The last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I listened to the last 5 or 10 minutes or so of the game while sitting in the cockpit of an F-4D Phantom on an Air Force base in Udon, Thailand. I was working on the comms, the aircraft communications gear, and that particular model had an HF radio in it. It was kind of like a shortwave. It could pretty much reach around the globe. So I had the last bit of the Super Bowl tuned in, and at the last part, and the Chiefs finally won, I let out a war whoop. And the crew chief was standing down there. He kind of looked up and says, "Well, I take it the Chiefs won." I said, "Yes, sir, Sarge, they did." So that was kind of brought back a cool memory back in the day when I actually had hair, even though it was cut short for the Air Force. Like I said, I'm not a real sports nut. Joe's the sports enthusiast in the family, so she watches most of the games and so on and so forth. But I'm usually down here doing this kind of stuff. Which brings me to my next series of little announcements. I am working pretty much non-stop on T.N.A. This chapter 7, The Rise of the Visoth, is going to be a big chapter. It's going to be a little darker chapter than most of them have been, because the Visoth are pretty nasty guys. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but it's going to be hopefully it's going to be a roller coaster ride. I'm working on a trailer that's getting near completion, and you will actually find out with the trailer what T.N.A. actually stands for. And it's not T.N.A. like T&A. It's not that. Okay, when I first came up with it, I was a little bit tongue-in-cheek about that, but no, it does have another meaning, and stay tuned for that. I'm also working on the G4 story. That's going to tie in. It'll show how G4, Angelique, which is her real name, came to be part of T.N.A. Some of her earlier adventures. I've already got a couple pages up that showed her as a young girl in school, and she's already starting to get tough. But working on that. Obviously, I'm working on the actual T.N.A. page, the actual T.N.A. story, page, and few other interesting little projects. Oh, good for the throat. If I ever learn how to talk, another major announcement. I have just signed up and opened an account with Twitch, which is a streaming service, kind of like YouTube, but considerably, you know, it's more set up for actual streaming rather than, like, this will go on YouTube as a pre-recorded video. Twitch is more set up for streaming. And at this point, what I'm planning on doing is, once I figure out how everything works, I'll probably get a little 1080p webcam. But what I want to do is stream my actual creative process. I will actually stream creating images, creating pages for the T.N.A. story. And, you know, beyond being an interesting look into the behind the scenes, it's also just a great platform for people to hang out, people of like minds, artists, 3D enthusiasts. Jay vs. Lewis, my friend WP Guru, has a Twitch channel, and I've made several new friends there. And basically Jay, you know, we'll do something in Daz Studio or Blender or Photoshop or whatever, and we'll all just chat and you know, just have a good time hanging out together, passing tips back and forth. You know, websites that might have resources that one person didn't know about but somebody else did. It's a sharing and just a good time for hanging out. And that's kind of what I want to do with the T.N.A. I can sit here and actually create something you can watch, we can all talk and visit and have a good time. So I'm looking forward to getting that started. It's going to take quite a bit of work. First of all, I have to figure out how everything on Twitch works, but looks like that's going to be a good time. I also have opened a store on Pixels, which is part of Fine Art America. I have I have some T.N.A. merch there, some of my own merch. I'm going to be adding more and more and more. They have t-shirts, coffee mugs, pretty much you name it. Some pretty cool stuff. Prices aren't bad. And yeah, any purchases that are made there really help me out. Right now my only source of income is Social Security, as I'm retired, and you know, we're certainly not starving or anything. I'm able to pick up a few things here and there, and you know, like the sale they just had on Renderosity, which just about killed me, $3.50 for stuff. I bought more than I should have. But anyway, any purchases there, any contributions on my Patreon page, or even, you know, you can even contribute through PayPal. Anything like that really helps me out, and it all goes back into this. It all goes back into the T.N.A. story, resources, things like the streaming that I want to do. It all goes back into that. So anything, any purchases or contributions are deeply appreciated. And let's see, what else? What else? I see that along with 11 other artists from 2019, I'm in the running for Artist of the Year on Renderosity. I'm still pumped about being picked as Artist of the Month in October. That was a hell of a birthday present. But I stopped by and took a look today, cast my vote, and when I looked, one other artist and myself were pretty much running neck and neck for the lead. But I don't even dare to hope. I'm not even going to, beyond what I looked at when I voted, I'm not even going to check it. It runs through the 19th, and they make the announcement the 24th, so we'll just see what happens. So, but it's, you know, it's an honor to be even in the top 11, you know, the Artist of the Month category. That's still, and like I said, I'm still pumped about that. So thank you for everybody that voted for me. And I think that just about wraps everything up. Like I said, there's lots of good things coming. I'm going to try to do more of these behind the scenes, which hopefully will be more than me just sitting here running my mouth. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.